We're gonna make
Hi everyone, my name is Yasmin Graeml. I'm a blogger and a podcast host, and today I'm going to talk with you guys about the transmedia world. And I know that this name might sound a little bit complicated, but I promise it's very simple. So this presentation will be in two parts: why we share and how we share. But before I get into there, I will show you where I share and who am I. So this is me in a few versions. You have me on my LinkedIn profile over here, and you have me on the drawing I use on my travel blog here. Both for this photo and this drawing were made by the same artist, but just in very different moments. Over here, you have journalism, because I love sharing stories, and that's why I chose journalism. I love to travel, and this is why I have a travel blog. And I did a minor on journalism at the digital age at UC Berkeley, and that's how I turned it out, being a podcast host on an entrepreneurship podcast. So these are my main topics. That's why they are big. And here I have some fun facts. I love photography, I train circus, and I love Disney, so I worked over there in the Disney College program. These two presentations of myself is really important for what we're talking today, but you're going to understand that really soon. So before I start talking about social media and sharing content online, I want to pass you all my social media. I know it's a lot of them, and I'm going to talk about why I use so many and which ones maybe you should use to make your digital presence. But at the moment, I just want to ask you to please, if you're going to share, please tag me so I can find what you were posting, because we create so much content online daily. So where do I share? I share on my travel blog, Qualquer Latitude, that I created when I was 16 on a high school exchange to Australia. And more recently, I started sharing at Brazucas Vale, a podcast about entrepreneurship in the Silicon Valley. And if you were asking yourself how I talk about travel and entrepreneurship, how does those topics relate, I also asked myself quite a few times, because I always thought I love it to write in Qualquer Latitude because I love it to travel. So I was wondering since when I started liking so much the entrepreneurship topic, the innovation topic, and technology. That is something that now I'm super passionate about, but when it started. And I realized that the reason I love both topics so much is because it gives me the opportunity to share. And this all started when we received it at Brazucas Vale, a DM message from a guy from a small town here in Brazil that said, I heard about the Silicon Valley on TV. No one in my city want to talk about it. They don't know what it is. And now I feel like I have someone to talk when I listen to the podcast. And that was the same feeling when I read that message that I get when girls who read Qualquer Latitude text me saying they were afraid to travel, and they read my blog and realized that if I could do it, they could also do it, and went on an exchange, went backpacking. Anyway, I realized what they have in common and why I like them so much is because they give me the opportunity to share and take people to new places. But now, talking more generally as a society, why we share and why we should share. First of all, because we are storytellers, and sharing content came way before the internet and social media. We share knowledge through books, through school, even back in the days when people used to sit around the bonfires for the oral tradition to get passed down by the elders. The second reason is because we are very privileged. We all have privilege. If you're watching this now, you have the privilege to know that campus party is going on. If English is not your first language, like it is not mine, you are very privileged to know how to speak English. And considering we are in the middle of a pandemic, you are very privileged to be alive and to not be sick, or at least not sick enough to the point you can't be watching this right now. And what I like to say, a quote from Ariana Grande, I see it, I want it, I got it, is that seeing it is a big privilege you have to being somewhere, to know someone, to get some information. But then wanting it is like your motivation. What is going to make you hard work to get somewhere, to get to what you want? And when you finally get it, that's your merit. I don't think that privilege takes out someone's merit. It's not because you had the privilege to be in a library that you're going to be smart. You need to want to be smart. You need to sit there, read books, study to be a smart person. And I tell you, from the same creators of with big power comes big responsibilities, I tell you, with big privilege come big duties, especially the duty to share. We have the duty to expand our privilege to the others. And I put it here, this fishing woman, to remember that old story of don't give a man a fish, teach him how to go fishing. So if you are lucky enough to know how to go fishing, that means someone's told you, and it's your time to tell someone how to go fishing. So in the end of the day, we can all get a fish. And now we get to the point of how we share. That's the thing that have been changing, because the fact that we share is not new at all. And how we've been sharing since back in the days changed a lot when we got out of the oral tradition and the bonfires to being able to live for all over the world and to share content with anyone you want. That was a big variety of how to share your content. Until it came 2020 and said, be digital. Now we can only share digital, being a school, being an event, I don't care. Everything needs to be digital. And somehow we understood that being digital was streaming everything we would normally do. And a lot of us even got disappointed because, when you stream for 20 people, you don't think that that's a room with 20 people, that in some schools would be already a full room, all your students are there. We just think that in the internet we can get thousands and millions of people, and we forget that, we're passing down knowledge, doesn't matter to how many people. And some people get disappointed, but that's the thing. Being sharing online doesn't really mean lives. And I'm going to show you by going back on a little bit of theory that might again sounds complicated, but it's actually really simple. So we have a way of sharing called monomedia, that when you use only one type of media. For example, if I am traveling and I send you a letter, and on this letter I tell you all about this place I am. We have multimedia, that is when I send you the letter, but I attach you a photo of that place. So now you can see the photo and you can read about it. Then we have cross media, that is when I send you a photo and I also post on my Instagram, and they are not related at all. You can even get my mail with the photo or only see on my Instagram. You get the same message. It might have a slightly different if I put a filter on, for example, but it's still the same message. And then we go to transmedia, that is when you make a puzzle. So I posted that photo on my Facebook. And I tell you, on my Facebook, could be on my Facebook or my Instagram. I just used an Instagram image over here. So I posted that photo there and told you, do you want to see about this place? You can go on my travel blog. I have a whole text for you. And then you go on my travel blog and you got some new information, new pictures, new text, and then you link to go on YouTube if you want to see a video about that place. So I make a puzzle for you to find out about my trip. And the proof that we love this is movies like Harry Potter, that we don't only want to listen to watch the movies or read the books. We want to go to Universal and emerge into the Harry Potter world. We want to go on websites and play games about Harry Potter. We want to have toys about Harry Potter. We created a whole world around that media. And if this all sounds really complicated, I'm going to show you how intuitive it can be by showing you the podcast example. So over here, we have a monomedia, that is the audio and the podcast. When it goes to a streaming platform that it adds some image of the entrepreneurs and some text about the episode, that's a multimedia. And a cross media, because I don't care if you're listening on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, you are getting the same message. It might be slightly different, the photo might be bigger or something like that, but the message is still the same. And then it turns transmedia when you also follow us on Instagram, because you want to see what the behind the scenes of an episode, what we are up to. And it turns to another level of transmedia when you also follow me, because you want to see how the podcast impacts in my life. What are the studies I've been doing on transmedia and how it could impact the podcast? You just want to have the full story. And on Brazucas no Vale, we are already actually in a after what I see as an after pandemic scene, because we get this whole world we created online for Brazucas no Vale and turn it into physical by getting physical events where people get together, discuss the podcast, and we get a bit of a human touch. And this will be back, because even though we're doing very well online events right now, we are humans and we like to be with each other. But if you are really confused, thinking you won't be able to create so much media to create an environment of like multimedia and transmediatic environment for your digital presence, I tell you, you don't need to go from the scratches. You don't need to organize a whole event, a whole virtual conference. You can make a list or share with your friends and your audience events and conferences that are already happening. You don't need to write a book if you want to talk about something you read on another book. You can post a photo and indicate that book for someone. You can, if you really want to do the content by the scratchers, you can just organize it all together so your audience can prepare with you to be there by the time you are streaming by your live, and not be just trying to make content every day. Just organize it on a week. You can even create a newsletter and send an email with the with the news and the podcasts and the videos that are made in certain topics. Or you can, apart from creating a podcast from scratches, you can make a playlist of podcasts you like, and that's all sharing. That's all making an online presence for you or for your brand. And the key to have a good online presence is to know your audience, know what it works with them. Maybe daily life works with them, but maybe not. And to know the code of the social media you are using. And when I say the code, is like a dress code. I won't go to a wedding on my gym clothes, or on my gym clothes to a wedding, and that's why I won't post my my LinkedIn photo on my travel blog, and I won't post or at least not as a profile photo. I won't post my drawing on the travel blog as my LinkedIn profile. And here I put another example of how I told people I was being a campus party today. So on my LinkedIn, I wrote what I will be talking about it and put it an official photo. On my blog's TikTok, I just made that TikTok train of the happily ever after, dancing on top of my bed and saying like, oh, at 22, writing my own travel blog with my best friends, host of 2 podcasts, and being a guest speaker at the campus party. And you got the message. I don't know if you came here to my LinkedIn post, to my TikTok post, or which social media did you got this message, but you got it, it worked, you were here. Finally, if you were sharing, you need to understand where you were sharing and which one it works for you, because we have this idea that we should be present in all possible social media, and that's true and really great if you have a whole team to do that, to be studying the algorithms, the trends, the hashtags for each one of them. If you're one person or a small team, just focus on your main ones. That doesn't mean you can't have others. It's just put most of your efforts in the ones that your audience is at. So for Qualquer Latitude, we use the blog as a platform, the Instagram, and the TikTok. While for Brazucas no Vale, we use the podcast, the Instagram, and the LinkedIn. Those are the ones we are sharing the most. We are always producing something new. And now talking about creating an event on this crazy world we are living and using transmedia to do that on a good way. I will use the example of the Brazucas no Vale 1 years old birthday party. So we wanted to do a party. We couldn't be do a presential party because of the of the pandemic, and we made the decision to not stream the party, to make a Zoom where people could join and put their cameras on, because we felt that our community would like to have this seeing each other presence. And so it was an open Zoom because anyone could sign up and just get the link and join, but it was slightly more close for those who really wanted to be there. But then you ask me why, if I cannot make it at that time, then you can listen to our 1 years old podcast special that is on Spotify. That is an episode that starts with happy birthday, and we talk a little bit about being 1 years old. We also made a video that got shared, not by only us, but by a lot of people in our community that really like and shared our video. We also made an Instagram party where we posted giveaways and just countdowns and people getting ready for our party, and made that happen. To get a little bit of the physical world, we also send them some people who are like people we interviewed at the podcast or are very directly related to the podcast. We send them a little gift to wear in our party, with like some rules of posting on social media. So we got to the whole other transmedia event of like having a lot of people sharing about it. And finally, we made a newsletter with the gifts of the 1 year of Brazucas do Vale. So our people who were with us on our party got an email saying about free mentoring, a group on Telegram, and some news that we created to celebrate our 1 year birthday. And that's how we got a lot of people to participate, because it was not only the Zoom people, it was not only who listened to the podcast, was everyone or got the t-shirt, was everyone who shared, liked, or were a part of it that knew that Brazucas do Vale was completing 1 years old. Some other cool activities that I was a part of during the pandemic is the Cine Passeio Movie Theater. Is a movie theater here from Curitiba that when the pandemic started, they created online sessions. But it was not just streaming the movie like Netflix or other platforms does. You go on their website and you get your ticket. They have free video movies and paid movies. So if you buy our ticket, you buy, or you get it for free, but you sign up, you get a code on your email, and on the time you go into your movie section, creating that experience of watching a movie in the movie theater. They also organized online classes virtually, but for those who are interested in cinemas, with also like signing in and working like a class. And for like the broad audience that just want to know about cinema, but don't want to commit to an online class, they make weekly podcasts where they interview productive these directors and actresses and actors, and giving everyone an opportunity to be part and have the experience of going to the movie even during the pandemic. Another really cool initiative that I was part of was the Curitiba Chorus Week. That what I think was nice about them was that they knew their public. So they used Facebook and YouTube because they knew their public would be there. And they organized a diverse shuttle. So it was not only presentations from chorus, it was like discussions, was lives, but everything had a certain time, like if you were on a physical event, that what is going on each time. Now think about it. We already knew how to use technology, but we got a lot better at it over the past few months. So imagine all this technology we learned how to use, combine it with our normal world. We just unlock it here, a whole new world of possibilities, how we can share this content, how can we extend this privilege. For example, now I'm streaming from my house to the UK. And that's cool. I like having the possibility of being there. But I also like the possibility of going to the UK and getting to know some cities and traveling and seeing my friends and going to dinner after this presentation. So, the digital world won't take over the real world because we like the real world. But the thing is, what if I can't make it to the UK? I can still participate. And that could be an online version of that event that will be streamed and extended the privilege to everyone. And that is not anymore just a camera filming the event, because before the pandemic, a lot of the events went digital by recording their presentations. And they need a little bit of a different language to talk online. The videos need to be shorter. We have different attentions on real life and online. So, now we know how to do that. And maybe we can do like preparing for the events, online events. So we can have podcasts about the campus party next year. So when we get presential, we already know the speakers. We can have an online version. After you present, you make a shorter talk to our online viewers. And we just can have big events being both in person and digital sessions, what I think is pretty exciting. And here you go. These are some of my insights about how our transmediatic world and hybrid between digital and physical will get even more intense after the pandemic, because now we know how to use the internet and we're good at it. We just don't really like it. We like being with each other and seeing each other face to face. So here are some of my insights. If you want to know more about Qualquer Latitude, Brazucas Vale, you can use the websites that are here. You can email me, or as I said, because I work in different media outlets, I just have a lot of social media, so you can always talk with me. And yeah, if you have any questions or something, thank you so much, Campus Party, for inviting me to be here today.